Hello guys, in today's video we're gonna check out the top 8 best stereo amps in the market for this year. I made this based on my personal opinion and I try to list them based on a price, quality, durability, and more information about these best stereo amps you can check out the description below. So let's get started. Denon PMA600NE Stereo Integrated Amplifier. If you love vinyl records, there's more than one reason to use the Denon PMA600NE to complete your system. First, it has an excellent phono preamp included, meaning you don't need a separate one. Second, it incorporates an outstanding analog mode feature, which bypasses the amplifier's digital circuitry completely. The pure, warm sound that results is definitely worth the trouble. And unlike less expensive apps, like the Onkyo A9110, there's both Bluetooth and a solid DAC included here, so it can take digital sources without breaking a sweat. If you're looking for a stereo amp to handle a turntable, and you like your audio to have some real weight to it, the PMA600NE is the one to pick. S.M.S.L D3045 HiFi Audio Stereo Amplifier. Although they are best known for their headphone amps and DACs, China's S.M.S.L have produced a killer little speaker amp as well. The AD the 18th of may be less than 10 inches long, but it manages to output a genuinely surprising amount of power, delivering more than enough juice for even the most demanding speakers. We were pleasantly surprised at how well this amplifier performed in a smaller room. While it doesn't have the grunt of something like the Onkyo A9110, it's much friendlier for those with limited space. The most glaring downside with the S.M.S.L D18 is that for all its charms, it's still a budget amplifier. That means that the sound will be ruthlessly exposed by high-end speakers. You're better off investing in a slightly pricier amplifier, like the Cambridge Audio CX-A61, if you want to go in that direction. That said, there's a lot to love here, including a solid DAC, Bluetooth compatibility, and a handy screen. It also helps that the AD18 looks fabulous. NAD D3045 Integrated Stereo Amplifier. The NAD D3020V2 as our top budget app, and this is the next generation. The NAD D3045 doubles the power output to 60 watts and adds some genuinely innovative features. Our particular favorite is the two-way Bluetooth, meaning you can not only send audio to the amp itself, but also have the amp send audio to, for example, a pair of wireless headphones. You get a phono stage for a turntable, and even an HDMI ARC channel for using this amp with a TV. NAD have really outdone themselves this time, and while this amp is no longer budget-friendly, it gives you just about everything you could possibly need. The one issue we have with it is that it's little too expensive at launch. For comparison, the original NAD D3020V2 costs $300 less, and while it doesn't have the same advanced features, many of them, like the phono preamp and Apt-X Bluetooth, are still present. As good an amp as this is, paying an extra $300 for it feels like a bit much. We're also a little surprised at the power range, 60 watt RMS, and 80 watts peak. That's surprisingly narrow, and although it's not a major issue, it could make speaker choice tricky. All the same, there are very few amps on this list with quite as many features, and if the price drops a little, this is going to rocket into the upper echelons of our picks. New Sonos Wireless Amplifier 125 watt black amplified streaming music system. Finally, Sonos has released an amp. Streaming music through a Sonos system has always been incredibly simple, and with the Sonos Amp, their services can now be hooked up to a set of passive speakers. The amp functions in an identical way to any other stereo amp, with the added benefit of Wi-Fi. Once that's hooked up, you can stream music from Spotify, Tidal, or any other service. It doesn't hurt that the amp is a real looker, with a slick design that complements other Sonos products. That being said, we suspect this is an amp you'll go for based on convenience, rather than pure sound quality. If you want something with a little bit more liveliness and detail to the sound, try the Denon PMA600NE above. While you won't get the same ease of use with these models, you'll get slightly better audio quality than the Sonos Amp. We also couldn't get an answer out of Sonos as to whether the rated 125 watts per channel was RMS or peak. However, the range of features in the Sonos Amp makes it a lock for this list, and it's definitely an option you should consider for your home system. Topping PA3 Desktop HiFi Digital Amplifier. If you have a DAC already, and all you want is a very basic amp for your desktop speakers, then we strongly recommend the Topping PA3. It really is one of the simplest amps we've ever seen, with no controls or additional features. Yet for all its simplicity, we dig the sound quality. It's punchy enough to compete with amplifiers like the Onkyo A9110, and at less than half the price. If all you need is something simple, then this is the amplifier to go for. But look, the Topping PA3 is very much a budget amplifier. While that's certainly not a bad thing, you need to temper your expectations as to what you are getting. The sound is good, without being spectacular, and you will of course need to supply a separate DAC, although these are inexpensive these days as well. It's a good alternative to models like the more fully featured S.M.S.L AD18.
Cambridge Audio CX-A81 Stereo 2-Channel Amplifier. The CX-A81 might look a lot like its predecessor, the CX-A80, but all the improvements are where it counts, on the inside. Cambridge Audio's engineers have upgraded the signal path, as well as the capacitors in both the preamp and power amp sections. Also on board is a new DAC and an improved USB input that supports high-res audio. What does this all mean? It means there's a world of difference when it comes to performance. It's as punchy as anything, with a bold, powerful sound. Yet detail is never sacrificed, and it's lean and agile enough to handle anything you can throw at it. Add in the addition of Apt-X Bluetooth for wireless playback, and you've got the best stereo amplifier around at this price and a very worthy What HiFi award winner. It sets a new standard for hi-fi amplifiers in this price bracket, one we can't see being surpassed anytime soon. Riga IO Integrated Amplifier. This excellent budget integrated amp borrows the power amp and moving magnet phono stage from its elder sibling, the 5-star Riga IO, which you'll find further down this list. And it's quite obvious when you power up the IO that it's a descendant of this excellent amp. It showcases a fantastic sense of rhythm, impressive dynamics, detail. In short, it's a whole lot of fun to listen to. One slight drawback is that in order to reach this level of audio quality, Rega has made the decision to stick purely with analog inputs, as it has traditionally done with its higher-ranging models too, though its approach is now changing. The lack of any digital connectivity might be a hindrance to some, but it's not unheard of at this price point, and it doesn't dampen our enthusiasm for what is one of the best-sounding stereo amplifiers we've heard at this modest price point. Onkyo A9110 Home Audio Integrated Stereo Amplifier. Onkyo's A9 series has been a firm favorite of ours for some time. The original A9050 featured on this list previously, and the new Onkyo A9110 makes some significant improvements. While the casing has undergone a slight redesign, the biggest changes are internal. Most of them are to do with improved amp circuitry, and circuits that reduce the length of time it takes for the audio signal to travel from place to place. The result? Genuinely brilliant sound. For an amp that costs just over $300, you're getting audio quality that is just staggering. This is easily a top budget pick, and it also helps that it comes with a wide range of connections, including a phono stage.